Hello everybody, this is Alaa and Slaity. I'm going to present a new research entitled On the Impact of the Application Domain on Users' Susceptibility to the Six Weapons of Influence. This research is co-authored with Professor Thomas Tran from the University of Ottawa, Canada. The agenda of this presentation, I will start by introducing the topic with a brief background about main concepts of the research, then problem statement and the goal of this work. After that, we will describe the study, how we designed our study and how we recruited participants. Then I'll discuss the results of this study, and finally I will conclude the presentation with some points for future work directions. Introduction. Recently, persuasiveness has been introduced to computer information technology areas such as healthcare, education, and lifestyle, and too many other areas. Also, it has been introduced to other areas which are not persuasive by nature, such as recommender systems or recommendation systems. Recommender system is a subclass of information filtering system that seeks to predict the rating or preferences a user would give to an item, and this system tries to suggest items for users based on the history interaction with the system. Recommender systems are the application domain for this research. In the social sciences literature, there are too many persuasive principles. One of the most common one is the Cialdini's 6 principles of persuasion, also known as the 6 weapons of influence. These principles are reciprocity, scarcity, social proof, consistency, liking, and authority. Problem statement. Persuasive solutions cannot be treated as a one-size-fits-all. This is simply because people are different. We are different in our thinking, on our emotions, on our responses to actions, and in many ways. Thus, persuasive technology research has been directed toward personalized persuasive technology, such that a persuasive technology or persuasive solution A is used with a group X of people, and persuasive solution B is used with a group Y of people, and so on. There are too many factors that affect the persuasiveness process. According to the communication persuasion paradigm, there are 4 main factors that affect the persuasiveness of a message. These factors are the source of the message itself and its characteristics, the destination or the receiver of the message, and the context in which the message is transferred or communicated. If we need to reflect these 4 factors to our persuasive technology area, we can say that the source is the application itself or the technology that provides services or products to the user. The message is the provided service or the provided item or whatever the result of persuasive system. The destination is the user herself, and the context consists of any other factor that affects this process, such as the domain where this system is implemented or used. In the domain of persuasive technology, however, the research of personalizing the 6 weapons of influence focuses only on one factor of these 4 factors, which is the destination or the user. And this is insufficient because it ignores other factors which are also important as the destination factor. For having said that, this work investigates other factor, in particular the fourth factor, which is the context. It investigates the effect of the application domain on users' acceptance of the 6 weapons of influence. So this research aims to answer 3 research questions, which are: do persuasive strategies impact the decisions of recommender system users in terms of accepting recommendations? Second research question: does the application domain affect users' susceptibility to different persuasive strategies? And the third one: does persuasive level of the 6 weapons of influence in e-commerce recommender system differ from that in the movie recommender system domain? To answer these questions, we implemented a study. Our study consists of a 2-part questionnaire. Each part reflects an application domain, and we consider 2 application domains, which are e-commerce recommender system and movie recommender system. In each part, we ask the participants to rate 6 persuasive sentences. Each sentence represents one of the 6 weapons of influence. For example, for the liking principle, persuasive principle, we have these 2 statements. So for the e-commerce recommender system, the statement was: your Facebook friend bought this item. And for the movie domain, this sentence becomes: your Facebook friends like this movie. Participants were asked to give a rate in a 7 Likert scale from -1 to 5, where -1 means negative impact, that is, the sentence or the persuasive sentence may cause a resistance toward the recommendation. 0 is the neutral value, such that it means that there is no effect of the sentence on users' decision. And from 1 to 5, options are scaled from very low to very high positive effect. Participants were asked to rate these sentences according to the following question: to what extent do you think that the following statement will influence your decision to buy an item recommended to you? And this is for the e-commerce domain. And for the movie domain, the question becomes: to what extent do you think that the following sentence or statement will influence your decision to watch a movie recommended to you? Our study followed within subject design. That means participants have to answer all the questions in both domains. We used 2 means to recruit participants, which are emails and paper posters. A total of 107 participants responded to the study. After excluding incomplete responses, we got 72 complete responses. And by incomplete responses, we mean that participants who answered part of the questions, so who rated part of the sentences, or who rated sentences for e-commerce domain but not for movie domain, or any incomplete response. After that, we also did another filter, such that we excluded records that contain identical ratings for all sentences. After this step, we got a total of 70 responses. After collecting responses and filtering the data, we analyzed them according to the research questions, as we will see in the next couple of slides. So to answer the first question, we calculated the mean rate for each persuasive strategy in the e-commerce recommender system and the movie recommender system. As we can see in these 2 figures, the left-hand side figure shows mean values for persuasive strategies in the e-commerce the e-commerce domain. The right-hand side figure shows mean values in the movie domain. As illustrated in the figures, all mean values are greater than the neutral value, which is 0. This indicates that all strategies are influential, and this is true in both domains. In addition to this, we found the overall mean, which is the mean of all ratings in both domains, as this figure illustrates. The overall mean, as we see here, indicates that most of the participants believe that any of the 6 strategies can influence their decision to some extent. Scarcity is the lowest mean value, so it's the lowest persuasive strategy. Commitment has the highest mean value. All these observations with the previous observations answer the first question. They show that the 6 strategies influence recommender system users' decision. To answer the second research question of this study, we compared the ratings of each strategy in both domains. This figure shows the number of similar and different ratings. When I say similar, it means that participants gave the same rating score for a particular persuasive strategy in both domains. For example, if user X gives liking strategy rating of 4 in the e-commerce domain, and she gives rating 4 in the movie domain, we consider this as similar answer. From this figure, it can be noticed that the impact of persuasive strategies varies from one domain to another. As we can see, the different answers are more than similar answers or similar ratings for all persuasive strategies. The percentage of dissimilar ratings to the total number of responses ranges from 57% to 75%. This indicates that persuasive levels vary from one domain to another, and this answers the second research question. For the third research question, we compared the persuasion levels of the 6 strategies in the 2 recommender system domains. This figure depicts persuasive strategies orders from the most persuasive to the least persuasive strategy. It also illustrates the difference in the order between the 2 domains. The upper part of the figure shows that reciprocity is the most persuasive strategy in e-commerce domain, and liking is the least persuasive one. On the other side, the lowest part shows that commitment is the most persuasive strategy in movie, and scarcity is the least persuasive strategy. By comparing the order of the persuasion levels in the 2 domains, we notice that the order is significantly different. Only one strategy, which is social proof, occupied the same order in both domains. These observations are in line with our conclusions that the application domain is an important factor that can affect the impact of persuasion strategies, and this answers the third research question of our work. To conclude this presentation, this paper discusses the impact of the application domain on the persuasiveness of the 6 weapons of influence. The recommender system is chosen as the context of persuasion. 2 recommendation areas were selected, which are e-commerce and movie recommender system. To the best of our knowledge, this is the first study in the persuasion technology literature that discusses the relationship between recommender system application domains and the 6 weapons of influence. Our results show that The six principles are all influential. However, the influence of each principle varies from one domain to another, and based on the application domain, the principles have different order in terms of their persuasiveness effect. Despite these results, the application domain is not the only factor that affects the influential power of persuasive strategies. As we have mentioned before, other researchers have studied some personality-related aspects, which are aspects that related to the receiver of the message, and they have found that these factors also have an impact on the persuadability of users. So, as a future work, we need to investigate other factors that affect users' persuadability, and also we need to study the relationship between these factors and how the combination of multiple factors can affect users' persuadability. And finally, based on these investigations, we need to provide clear guidelines to incorporating persuasive principles into technologies in general and into recommender system in particular. Thank you very much for watching, and please let me take this opportunity to thank the organizers of this conference. This is Alaa Slaity, PhD candidate and research assistant at the Faculty of Engineering at the University of Ottawa, Canada. My research interest is in the field of persuasive computing, recommender systems, and the integration of social theories into the CIT sector.